I just want to say thank you. We're just so glad that you're here. Thank you for saying yes. We know everyone has a lot going on, so it's just nice when we can find people who not only have the skill set and the demeanor to run a great coffee break, but also are able to add it to their schedule. So thank you for saying yes. I think we'll just do a quick round of introductions. I know all of you, but you don't know each other. So we'll start with the Atlas staff. I'm Patsy. Marisa, do you want to just say your name and your role at
Yeah,
Atlas?
I'm Marisa Giesler, and I'm the operations manager at Atlas.
Thank you. Gail?
I'm Gail Richan, and I'm the events manager at Atlas.
Whose job has changed 180 degrees this year. So
Yes, virtual Atlas events manager.
yeah, she's real, but the events are not. Yes.
Yes.
And then, and Christine is also on the Atlas staff.
Hey, I'm Christine Kelly. I'm the Atlas Literacy and English Language Arts Coordinator. I'm not running a coffee break, but I'm hosting, and I just show up to all the meetings.
She comes to everything. She misses us. Yeah.
I haven't seen you, Patsy, since this morning.
I know it's been so long. And well, I'm just going to go in the order I see you. So Lenka, do you mind saying your name and if you would tell us which coffee break you're working with?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lenka Bragg. I'm a teacher and curriculum coordinator with Minneapolis Adult Education, and I will be facilitating a STAR conversation during STAR Online.
STAR, reading, all the things. Yeah,
Awesome.
Great. Excellent. We're glad to have you. Adam K.
Hey everybody, Adam. I teach DOC Faribault low-level literacy, and I am hosting the corrections coffee break.
Represent. All right, thank you. We'll go to Penny.
Hi, I'm Penny. I'm at Southwest Metro down here in Shakopee. And I think I'm working with the One Room Schoolhouse coffee break.
Great, thank you. Glad to have you. Linda.
Hi, Penny. First, I want to say that my daughter taught for years in Shakopee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My name's Linda Uscola, and I teach all levels of ESL in Park Rapids, and I am part of the Northwest Service Co-op.
Great, thank you. And Linda's been very involved with our CCRS work too. Maya, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you, Patsy and everyone. I'm Maya, and I'm with Literacy Minnesota Open Door Learning Center right now in St. Paul at Arlington Hills. I'm an intermediate ESL teacher, and I will be hosting the low literacy ESL coffee break. I've also been teaching low lit in the past for quite a few years, and I'm working on some curriculum for low literacy.
And you may have seen her in a Literacy Minnesota phonics video near you. She starred in a few of those. So. Great, thank you. We did, thank you for pointing this out. I want to be sure it's clear. We have 2 ESL coffee breaks because the nature of that low level, low literacy ESL group is so distinct from upper level ESL. We decided to create 2 to give them their own space. So thank you for making that happen, Maya. And Paula is joining us as well. Hi, Paula. Paula not only just moved and she's got a whole lot going on.
Yeah. I'm Paula Farmuth. I'm a teacher with Osteo ABE. I'll be with the adult diploma coffee break, talking, not hosting, not facilitating, nothing. I'm there and I'm here to learn some things, but I will be talking about the Edmentum course revisions.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, that Andy is helping us to review, so all good things. John T.
Hi everyone. I'm John Chorotola, and I'm a teacher in Robbinsdale on GED Adult Diploma, and that is the coffee break. I think Paula and I are going to be together on that one, chatting about GED Adult Diploma and everything related.
Yeah, thank you.
I think I come to these meetings just so I can see John. I don't get to see him at school anyway. And Andy, I get to see my team.
Right? All the teams in one place. We're full service here at Atlas, We'll help you with your coffee break orientation and cure your loneliness all in one place. So Liddy Rich, tell us.
I'm Liddy. I teach in North St. Paul at Harmony Learning Center. I teach intermediate English language learners, and I will be note-taking in the intermediate ESL coffee break group.
Great. And I don't actually see your host for that. Dan and Sue Ann actually did the one in November, and I told them since they've done it once before, they could come to this if they'd like, but weren't required to. So never fear, you won't be all by yourself in there.
That's good, because I'm just taking notes.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you. Andy.
Hi, I'm Andy Albee. I'm one of the teachers at Robbinsdale Adult Academic Program, and I literally have no clue what I'm doing on this one. I got put in, so I'm here, but
I can check the chart. I don't actually remember.
check the chart. Let me know what I'm supposed to do.
I think he's hosting
I'll be
something.
happy to do it. I just got to know.
Let's see now. You're hosting, Andy.
I'm
Do
hosting.
you know what he's hosting? Which one?
He's the Liddy's, the same one that Liddy's in.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
ESL.
Consider yourselves connected. Awesome.
There you go. Hi, Liddy. And so you know, I know we'll be on it when it's time for it here in a couple of weeks. I just literally got out of class and ran here, so
Great.
that's why I'm a little late.
You can always jump into an Atlas meeting anytime, Andy. You're always welcome. And Elizabeth has joined us. Elizabeth, do you mind introducing yourself? I hope she's connected. I don't see her camera on, so she may still be getting oriented. There, I see you. Go ahead and unmute and tell us. Looks like you might be in a busy space. Let's see.
All right. I think that I am unmuted.
Yeah, we hear you
Hello,
just
everyone.
fine. Can you tell us who you are and where you work?
Yes, Elizabeth Mueller-Liley and West ABE in Buffalo.
Great. And I believe you're working with the low-level ESLs with Maya, correct? Great. Oh, well, we're glad to have you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Did I miss anyone? Did anyone join without my knowledge? No, we're good? Okay. Well, I am going to just take us through, you can see my orientation screen here, right? Actually, Marissa or Gail, would you chat out the link to this so that people can open it on their own computers if they would like?
I will do that, yes.
Thank you so much. So, I mean, first of all, again, thank you for saying yes. We're so glad to have you. You can go ahead and mute if you're not speaking, just reduce the background noise. And just the purpose of this session, the purpose of these networking sessions at the in coffee breaks at the Language and Literacy Institute is really just to give people kind of a space to connect with each other. There is no content per se being shared. You are not expected to be an expert in your area. You're not expected to have the answers. You are, however, expected to, you know, facilitate a conversation, to get people talking to each other, to kind of help out if things seem to like come to an end with one topic and move them on to another, and to just start and end on time. That's it. There's not a whole lot to this, but we do want people who, of course, know about the subject area and can offer some advice or know who to ask, or at least will know some of the people in the room, which is why we came to you. And either I knew you or someone I know knew you, and you came recommended. So thank you so much. You know about stipends. If you are a host or a note taker, you are doing this for a virtual high five. Thank you so much. We love you. There's no stipend. If you are, however, facilitating, there is, of course, a little more work on your end, and there is a facilitator stipend that you'll submit. Marisa, anything you want to say about that?
Nope. It's just the usual. I think everybody probably here is probably familiar with that submit invoice page. And there are instructions on there for submitting an invoice. I believe we have paid everybody here once before. So if you have been paid by us before, there's no reason for you to fill out a W-9. You just need to submit that invoice. $100 for one facilitator, or if you're co-facilitating with someone else, it'll be $75 each.
Great, thank you. And then the basic outline for this slot, this is, again, it's going to be on Friday of the Language and Literacy Conference at 11:30, so it's just before lunch. You already got a link to this in that email that Gail sent, but just so you can see, tell me if you come and give me a heads up if this did switch when I switched. Do you see the template to the slides now?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so I'm just going to walk through. There's nothing terribly exciting here because nothing's been added, right? It's just a template. But what you'll do is the link that you've been given to this is a forced copy link, which means that when you click on it, it'll make you make a copy so that I keep my template without any changes. If that for some reason doesn't work or you're having trouble, let us know. We'll help you out. We do just the things I've highlighted here are things you'll want to update for your own session. Tech help, that's your host, whoever your host is, that's who you'll put there. It'll become clear when we show you the grid who your host is. If you're not sure, you'll change, of course, the name and title of your session there. And then if you would add a name, your organization, a photo, if you're comfortable with that. Thank the person who's taking notes. Again, you can find that out by looking at the grid that we'll show you in a moment. Make this your own, right? And I know like other people are kind of already have done, Adam, I'm thinking of you. If you already have something in place, that's fine. This is just what I have to offer. I'm not like making everyone use the same one. So whatever you've got put together, if you're more comfortable with it, is just fine. And then I've shared this. Just let you read for a moment. If you have another idea, again, we've asked you to do this because we trust you. If you have another thought that you want to kind of make it your own, feel free. That's just fine. This is just what I came up with. That's super general. There might be something I'm thinking, John and Paula, is maybe one of your purposes is to share those Edmentum courses, for example. So you could add that to this slide. And then the agenda, again, I've just made this very general. You are welcome to tweak it as you see fit. What I really enjoy are all the pictures of coffee, though. I mean, just those are great, right? Pixabay to the rescue. There's just so many great pictures of coffee and not enough slides. And then we get to the chat part. What's something worth celebrating around? This one says math. Again, of course, tweak that for your own session. The sessions they could be large. So depending on how you want to run it, you could have people just use the chat box. You could have people unmute and raise their hands. We'll let you do that as facilitators depending on how many people come. Given that it's only 45 minutes, you probably won't do small groups. It's just too fast for that. However, if you're very comfortable with Zoom and want to make that happen, talk to us. We can give you some tips. I would probably suggest that you just stick in one group though. Does anyone have a thought about that you want to bring up?
I would just add that if you have quite a few people, but you do want to give them the opportunity to speak up, you can ask them to just type their name into the chat, and then you can call on them in order. That's one way to handle that.
That's another good way too. Yeah.
Patsy, I was just going to ask, when you say they may be big, like generally, is there a number generally these coffee breaks have been, or?
No, we've only done it a couple times. It's a great question. Christine, what do you remember from last time? How many people? And then was someone else in one in November? Can tell us how many people roughly were there?
I want to say
You're
we
muted,
had like
Christine.
2 dozen.
I would say at the, I
dozen
wouldn't,
in ours.
again, we don't know how many people are coming to the conference and they can register up to the morning of, so it's super hard to say.
I've
Christine,
had
what
up
do you
to
think?
38 or 40.
Okay.
The last time I did one, I think I had 38.
Okay. And then corrections, like Adam, I don't know how many DOC folks are planning to come. You probably have a better sense of that.
No, I have no idea.
Sure. Maybe you might be all by yourself in there.
On our own little, and that'd be okay.
Well, we'll send someone in there to keep you company, but I do think you'll get some county corrections people too. Maybe from some of the county facilities will likely join you as well. So anyone else have insight?
I'm hoping there's a lot because we need to do some more collaborating.
Yeah, this is a good chance, right? And then we can always get the chat log. And if you're like, who said that thing? Like we can help you figure out who said what, right? And then you can have that later. All right, I'm gonna go back to my slides here. So first we talked about like what's something you're kind of celebrating. If you don't love that language, make it your own, that's fine. What's a struggle? Something you're kind of grappling with. Please note my cute broken coffee cup, right? Very excited. And then resources. You'll note someone pouring cream into someone else's cup, right? It's all about the symbolism here. And then what I have at the end is like just what else? You can get rid of this slide if you have nothing to put here, and that's fine. One thing I might suggest under resources, maybe if you could add a couple that you have found particularly helpful, that might be a nice way to start the conversation and say, well, I have these in mind. What else do you have? So I would love for you to add something to your own slide there. Again, use this, don't use this, and then you'll note the empty coffee break means we have come to the end of this session. So
You had way too much time on your hands to think about these.
right? No, it's
visuals,
just, I
Kathy.
find it really, really satisfying to find just the right image. So,
Yes, I know.
and then letting people know that the next session starts at 1 o'clock. So you're leading them right into lunchtime, and then they have half an hour, and you want them to be back at 1. That's it. That's what we're working with, and you're welcome to, again, tweak these as you see fit. Any questions before I move on?
So the time on that one is 11:30 to 12:15, and our login is okay. Sorry, I'm reading further down your thing. I was going to ask you a question that's it's on your slide.
Oh, well, good. Okay, so we'll get there, but feel free to ask more questions if we don't cover what you need. Yeah, so you've got information here. One thing is the note takers. Those of you who are taking notes, or when you connect with your note taker that day, there is a forced copy of the notes that I'll just show you here what it looks like. Would you like to make a copy? Why, yes, I would. Sorry, it's thinking. Super basic, but when you get in there, you'll notice there's a couple things that I've highlighted that you'll modify for you. And then you can take notes on these areas. If you want to add other areas that you're going to hit on, feel free to do that. And then when they're ready, I'll go back here. When the notes are ready, we ask that you email Gail and let us know. And then she's going to PDF them and put them in the folder for participants, ideally as soon as possible, but for sure by February 5th. And if it's a question of, I needed to grab a couple links from the chat log before we finalize or something, sure, just, we get it. Take your time, but we do want to get them fairly soon to people who missed, or maybe they wish they had gone to another one. They were only able to go to one and went to the ESL one, but they really want to hear also about correction, whatever it might be. We do want people to have access to those notes. The notes we find from the coffee breaks are the gold. Like that's what people really benefit from later. Logistics. Let's see, where is everything? I think you know that, but Marisa, do you want to explain about the admin folder?
So yeah, I've created an admin folder for this conference, and what I will be doing in the next couple of days here is adding all of you to that folder so that you'll have editing access, which means that you'll be able to get in there, add documents to the folder. And within the admin folder, there is just one folder for all of our coffee breaks. So that's where you'll be able to get the materials and upload materials that you might want to share. Say you have a PDF that you'd like to share with people, you can put it in that folder if you'd like. So you'll be getting an email from me, well, through Google from me, inviting you to be an editor of the admin folder, and that will take place in the next couple of days.
And I'm sure don't need to say this, but please don't edit anything except the things that you need to edit. So thank you. We are trusting you because we know you, so we're not worried, but just a reminder. The session time for this is 11:30 to 12:15 on Friday the 29th. We ask that you log in around 11:20. Don't be worried if the room hasn't been opened quite yet. There is a session ending at 11:15, I believe, so it might take him a couple minutes to get there and open your room. They'll be along. Don't worry, it's all good. And I do want to just point out in the grid then, this is the grid that you can see who's doing what. So Penny's taking notes for Linda, Marn is going to take notes for Lenka, and Lindsay's hosting. So you can see who's doing what in what capacity here. And everyone's email is here already.
Should we have cell phone numbers for in case there?
Look at Andy, you're reading my mind. Look right here. So enter your cell phone number at the end of this document. Boom, boom, right there. Go ahead if you like. If you haven't already, we can put this document in the chat for you. I don't have my chat open. Can someone else do that? Thank you. And yes, it's always a good idea. So thank you for the reminder. So one thing we find is if somebody's computer crashes or, you know, your cat turns your computer off, you know, things happen and we understand. It is awfully nice to be able to have a back channel and be able to reach your host or your note taker, or if you're one of those people, reach the facilitator and it's like, oh my gosh, my computer decided to restart. I'll be right back. It's nice to have the number of the person. So that's our means of staying together. It has been very handy a couple of times when somebody's keyboard has frozen or something, as Andy and Marisa
That
can
was me.
attest.
And I just switched the sharing settings to edit. So
Oh,
if
thank you.
you tried to get in there and put your cell phone and you weren't able to at first, go ahead and try now. It should be working correctly.
Oops, that was sorry. Good, thank you. All right, I'm going to pause here. And first, let me ask Gail if I have forgotten anything you wanted to highlight. Marisa, anything from you two before I ask the group?
I think you covered everything, Patsy.
Okay. All right, questions? All right. Well, if they do come up, let us know. And then another thing we want to tell you is we would love for a few articles to come out of these sessions. And so if you're interested or willing to maybe just write up some of the key takeaways or briefly describe, like, here are the 3 resources that people were most excited about from our coffee break. Like, it does not have to be long or involved, but it's really helpful for us to have that kind of content in the newsletter and some key takeaways around, here's what things that people are struggling with, here's some things that are going well, here are a couple things that people are finding helpful. If you're willing to write that up, I would love some volunteers for that. If you know right now, hey, yes, I'm happy to do that. Maybe I can't do it till February, or like mid-March, but I can do it. Like, let us know. In fact, if you want to put it in the chat now, I will make a note, or I can you can email me later and let me know as well. Questions about that? Okay, you probably saw some of those kind of summarizing coffee break articles come out in the weeks after the November conference too. So you kind of have a sense of what that might look like. I do want to clarify who gets what questions. So if you have any questions around stipends or the admin folder stuff, that should probably go to you, Marisa.
Correct. Yep.
And Gail, what kinds of questions would you want to take from the group?
I guess any question about, I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess anything logistical. If you have a question about the link, that kind of thing. I guess one thing I do want to mention though, actually, is the link for your coffee break will be on the flyer. And
thank you.
Super important, just because you won't get that flyer until I'm still working on it, putting all the links in, and then I'll send it out to everyone. So it's very important that you've registered for language and literacy, because in order to get the flyer and to get any other information from me regarding the logistics, you'll need to register. So about a week out, you'll get that flyer, and then you'll go into that link right before. So you'll just go, it's a join link, it's highlighted. If you were at the last event, it's the same kind of idea. So the flyer would be important for the entire event, but especially your coffee break.
Exactly. Thank you. It's a great reminder. And actually, before we go to Zoom, I'm just going to be sure people see these helpful links. They're so labeled helpful because they are. So number 1, as Gail just said, please register. There's a link to register now. Program flyer, we have not linked yet. We are still working on it because it's a very involved process that Gail has to endure to get everything in there. We have a link to that coffee sessions grid that lists all the hosts and such, the slides template, force copy, the template of the note-taking doc, the admin folder you'll be invited to. There is a larger networking coffee break folder where everything will be, but really the things you need are these force copies here. And then before the conference, if you would just upload your slides to that, actually it will already exist there, but if it needs to be in there by late Tuesday before the conference if possible. If you have a couple of tweaks to it after that, we understand, but that just helps us know that you're ready. And then there's a screen
Patsy,
sharing.
sorry to interrupt you. Can I just clarify something about that folder?
Yeah.
So when we go to the forced copy link, we're making a copy, but then we have the chance to link that to stay in that folder. Is that how that works?
So do you mean for the slides?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you create a copy, it just saves in your drive. What we want you to do is then after you're ready with your slides, be sure and put it into the admin folder.
Okay.
That Marisa will add you to. If it's confusing at all, just add us to your document and we'll be sure it gets into the right place. We're happy. Some of us are very Google Drivey and other people don't use it at all, so we totally understand. It's taken us years to get to the point we are, and we're still learning a lot. So Marisa, any tips on that? Did that make sense?
You know, for me, it's a simple, it saves in my drive and then I drag and drop it into a folder, but we'll certainly help you if you're running into trouble with that. As
Right.
Patsy said, you can give us the link and then we'll make sure that it gets into the
We'll
folder
just
for you.
drop it in. It takes just a second on our end. So
I also
You know what,
did.
Go ahead. Oh, I have one other thing when you're done. That's fine.
Okay, I just dropped a link in the chat to a recent article. Patsy was mentioning that we've had a few people write articles about the networking coffee breaks. Say it upside down. And this is just an example. This is from Heather Turngren, who facilitated the ACP networking coffee breaks. So if
Great,
you'd like
thank
to
you.
see an example, there it is.
Yeah.
Gail?
So I wanted to, there's been a question here regarding the links for the hosts and things like that. I want to just kind of talk about that a little bit. In fact, I'm trying to find a copy of that flyer. Basically, there is only one link to get into each meeting, okay? So whether you're a host or whether you're a participant or a note taker, it's the same link, and that link is located on the flyer. So we want everyone who, like for this group, we want the hosts and the presenters and the note takers to all log in 10 minutes early. And then, so the host will open the meeting 10 minutes early, okay, from that flyer link. And then everyone else, as people come in, they'll go into a waiting room and the host will let those people in. So important to have your grid and know who's in your meeting.
Know who to let in, yeah.
Right. And especially, now that's important too for everyone to use their first and last name, because sometimes that's confusing when someone just does like Liz or something, and then, you know, there's more. So something to to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And again, that program flyer will be sent to everyone when it's ready. Everyone who's registered. Yeah. So
everyone who's registered. So I won't be sending that out to individuals because we want everyone to get the flyer only through registration. Otherwise it could just cause problems.
Gets messy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it comes to what Gail does. She does a push notification basically from Zoom. And so you get it
from Zoom.
It's from Gail, but it's through Zoom.
Yeah. And it'll be from me on your email. But so anyways, and then hold off and don't let people in until the start of the meeting. So you guys as a group, your team, can talk about whatever you need, and you can that'll give you time to get your slides up, get ready to go, and then right when the meetings starts, you know, right when the time comes to that time, then go ahead and open your meeting to everybody. And hosts, I will be sending out a host letter next week with more detail. So you'll get one more letter from me for this kind of meeting and hosting other meetings.
Just to clarify, if you are presenting other sessions, I know like, you know, Penny, for example, and Liddy, there is no other run through for your coffee break. This is it. There just isn't enough to warrant a separate meeting for every coffee break. So we just do this one. So you do have a run through for your workshop if you're doing one. This is it for coffee. You are hereby in charge of your coffee break. Let us know what you need, but otherwise you have what you need. I am going to. Sorry,
I was just going to say, for the run-throughs, everyone should have received calendar invites from me, and that's the kind of thing. If you have any questions about any of that, shoot me an email. And
that is a Gail question. If you're someone presenting a workshop, she's the one to be in contact with. All right, it is 3:30, which means it's time to go Zoomy. So I actually have to leave to pick up my daughter, but I'm going to let Marisa take you through some Zoomy goodness. If you are someone who's super savvy on Zoom and you're fine, that's fine. Thank you so much. We'll see you at the conference. If you want to hang out and watch Marisa do her magic, please do. If you just want to wait a moment and see what she's going to talk about, that might be good. She's just going to give a brief kind of here's what I'm going to talk about, and then you can decide for yourself whether that's something you would like to stay and hear about. Any questions for me before I scoot? All right. Well, thank you again. We're really glad to have you part of this process, and we'll see you, if not before, and at the conference. Bye, everyone.
All right, everyone. I will be just going over a little guide that I've put together for presenters. I want to make sure that you know how to share your screen, and there are actually 2 ways to do this. So if you've been zooming around and you know how to share your screen, but you only know one way, I want to make sure you know the other way because it's really helpful. It can be really helpful. I'll tell you a little bit about remote control, which helps if you have a co-presenter, you can both be advancing slides by using remote control. I'll talk a little bit about how do you find the chat box while you're presenting. I've had so many questions from presenters saying, you know, everything looks different when I'm presenting. I can't find this stuff. So we'll talk about that. I'll give you a little backup plan that we put in place for internet issues. If you were to get bumped out of the meeting that you are presenting at, don't panic. There are ways around this, and we can get you back in and presenting even if your internet goes down. And then I'll just show you very, very briefly a tech troubleshooting guide that your co-hosts, your tech co-hosts are going to be using. So that is what I have in store for you. What I'd like to do first is just point out something for you here. This is the Atlas website. And as you can see, we have this new banner, this green bar at the top. This is where you'll find resources for online meetings, presentations, classes, events. If you click here, this is our virtual meeting resources. So there are all kinds of tools that we as a team have put together that we want to be sharing with people. There are planning tools that you can use if you are involved in another workshop, not a coffee break, but another workshop. You'll be using this virtual event planning grid. But again, for the coffee breaks, we don't need to use that. They're just a lot more simple. For in-meeting tools, there's a host checklist for you if you're somewhat new to hosting Zoom meetings, or I'm actually not new to Zoom, hosting Zoom meetings, but I always have my checklist because then I make sure to go through all the steps and I don't forget important things. Because if it's not written down, it's like it never happened. So that's helpful to me too.
Within the important things there, are we recording these, or are these going to be non-recorded, the coffee breaks?
The coffee breaks, I think we did not record last time. Is that your recollection as well,
Yeah,
Gail?
that we did not
Okay.
record them during the Math Institute.
Yeah. So I believe that it's really just an informal time, and really what's going to help people most for your coffee breaks is those notes. So note takers, your role is really crucial there. The notes will be what's most helpful for people. And it also gives people a chance in an informal setting. They know it's not going to be recorded, and if they've been really frustrated about something, they can just say it and not worry that it's recorded. So that's a good question. Thanks, Andy. What I am going to show you though right now is this. Oops, I already had it open. Screen sharing guide. This is helpful for presenters. Even if you have been Zooming a lot, as I said, there are a few new things that we have discovered recently. So when you are presenting, we suggest, especially if you're using Google Slides, As you can see, my Google Slides can be open on this in the same browser here. There's my slides. Now I'm in a different tab on my browser. We suggest that you open those in a separate window. And part of the reason is that it's much easier to find them when you click on the share button. You get, you know, all these things that are open on your computer. So if you have it separate, it's easier to just, you know, share that. And then certainly you can open up other tabs if you'd like, but it just makes it a lot easier for yourself. Now you're going to want to only share the window that has your slides, not your entire screen. That's another thing that I've seen people do by accident. So in this example here, and maybe I need to make this bigger so that you can see. I can never tell if it's easy for you to see or not. The little red arrow here is pointing to navigating the Zoom platform. So that's my slide deck. That's what I want to share. I don't want to share my whole screen, which is the one that the box right above it, because that shows, you know, everything you've got going on. So if you want to have other things going on in the background that you need to refer to, you don't want people seeing that. You just want them seeing your slides. So make sure that you share just that window. Now, if you're using Google Slides, one thing that you can do is if you do have things on your computer that you need to be referring to, I'm going to go to my slides here. So this is in presentation mode, or no, that's not in presentation mode at all. Here, let's do this way. Okay, so now I'm in presentation mode, and I can't see anything else that's on that screen. However, if I use this little 4 square, you see exit and then the little tool gear and then this little 4 square, I click on that. What that does is now I can see other things on my screen, but for the viewers, they can see my slides. So it's a helpful thing if you're in presentation mode and you say, well, I want to show them this screen sharing guide. You don't have to stop sharing, choose a different thing. You know, it's a lot more seamless if you use this 4 square option. See that? So that's a helpful thing for you to know about. And I also have some instructions here. If you're a PowerPoint user, this is how you do the same sort of thing using PowerPoint. Now, something that you'll notice when in Google Slides, at least, when you hover your mouse, see this toolbar that shows up at the bottom where I can go back and forth with my slides. Every time I hover, that toolbar is going to show up. So in this example, in number 3 here, you can see I'm hovering, and it's covering up some of the words on my slide. So instead of hovering, what you can do is you can use on your keyboard, you can use the arrows back and forth or up and down. I think for some computers it's the back and forth, and for others it's up and down. I'm not really sure how it works, but whichever one works, try using that first. It doesn't always work for me. Sometimes I have to kind of prime the pump and, you know, hover or click there, and then it will do it. But that's a way of advancing or reversing your slides, is using the arrow buttons, the arrow keys rather, on your keyboard. And finally, a little reminder that if you are playing a video, you're going to need to share your computer sound. So when you go to share your screen, you're going to want to click this little checkbox here that says share computer sound in the lower left-hand corner. All right, now for the exciting stuff. The alternate sharing method. So This is a game changer. This is actually something that you can use in your classrooms too. Um, what I did to share my screen is I clicked on the share button, and then I chose, just like at that example up here at the top, I chose to share my window. And so that's what you're seeing, is you're seeing my window. There's another way to do this. When you click on share, you can go to the advanced tab. You can see this red arrow up at the top here. When you click on share, usually you're in the basic tab. Click on advanced and you'll see these new options. You can click on portion of screen, which the second arrow down below is pointing to, and then click on share. What this does is it makes a green box appear, and you can just drag that green box around anything on your screen that you want to share. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to stop sharing. So now you're not seeing anything. I click on the share button. I click on advanced tab. So that's the one in the middle. I'm going to click portion of screen and share. So now now you're going to see something kind of random because I haven't moved the box around, but you see how I can move this box so that you're only seeing a little bit. Now, if I'm in my slide deck, if I'm in my slide deck, I'm going to exit my slide deck, and now you just see the slide, but I can see everything else that's going on in my computer. In fact, I can also see, if I move this over, it is kind of, you want to do this before anybody's watching you. But you can see that I've got a view now of the thumbnails over on the left-hand side. So I know what's coming up. But when I'm doing this, nobody else can see that. So it's really, really a helpful thing for you to do, especially if you want to have things open that you're not showing the participants. That will help you to move along with your presentation. Now, let's see if I need to change this back to my normal share. All right, so this just notes that the sharing is automatically paused when you're moving around the green box. So again, my suggestion is get this set up beforehand. And, especially if you're only going to be showing those slides, then this is a helpful tool for you. If you're going to be wanting to show lots of different things and moving around, maybe I would suggest not using this particular tool. But that's how that works. So I hope that that helps you also for your own classes. All right, now I'm going to actually go back to my other sharing method here. So I was able to, again, without starting a new share, I was able to just go click on share. I went back to the basic tab and clicked on what I had done before. So you can move back and forth between these. Remote control. If you have a co-presenter and you're both in charge of part of the slide deck, so say Maya is going to start presenting her slides, and then Penny halfway through is going to chime in, and Penny's going to be presenting her part of the slides. They're using the same slide deck, but each person is in charge of different slides. Remote control is a great tool for you, because Maya could start out by sharing her screen, sharing the slides. Then when it's time for Penny to chime in, Penny can request remote control of Maya's screen, or Maya can just grant remote control to Penny. And you do this by clicking on your view options. So like right now in this example, it says that you're viewing Marisa's screen. You click under view options and you'll see request remote control. So this is something that Penny could do. She could click on request remote control. Now, what's going to happen for Maya is that she's going to see, or actually I guess Jane Doe is my example here instead of Penny. Jane Doe is requesting Maya's screen. So Jane Doe, Maya, you would see this box pop up in your screen. So Jane Doe is requesting remote control of your screen, and you can say approve. And then Jane Doe simply has to click on the screen, and she's got control of your screen. So she can go ahead and advance your slides. The nice thing about this is you can go back and forth. So if Jane Doe does her slides and then Maya needs to take over again and finish up the presentation, Maya just clicks on the slides, just clicks on her screen, and now Maya's in charge, and Maya can continue forwarding those slides, advancing those slides. You don't
So-
have to keep on giving each other remote control approval. You can just go back and forth the whole time.
So at the time you've given approval, there's only one person in charge of the screen at a time, but it can switch back and forth.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep. So say, yeah, Andy and Maya are presenting together. Andy requests remote control. Maya says approve. Now Andy's going to click on his screen. He's going to click on what he can see, the slides. He can advance the slides, do his presentation, and then say, okay, Maya, here's your part again. Maya steps up and clicks on her screen, and now Maya's in charge of it. She's back to advancing her own slides. So yeah, it's only one person in control at a time, but you can go back and forth. You don't have to keep on granting control and requesting remote control.
So
Mhm.
I request control, I get control. Maya takes back control because she clicks
Yep.
on her screen. Then
Yep.
if I click on my screen, I take back control again.
You do. Yep.
Okay. So she's not kicking me out. She's just
She's not kicking you out. She's just taking control.
beautiful.
So you have to, trust each other that Andy is not going to usurp Maya's
Oh,
time.
that's
and,
dangerous.
yeah, and start taking control. But it's so much more seamless than, okay, I'm going to stop share and now you start, or, there are other kind of a little bit seamless ways to do it, but this is just totally seamless. Now, something to know is that you cannot use this fancy trick, the alternative sharing method. You can't use that if you're going to be using remote control back and forth. Because think about it, if I'm only showing you this choosing a DL platform slide, for example, and then somebody tries to remote control, there's nothing for them to click on to advance it. So it won't work. So if you're going to be using remote control, you need to use the normal method, which is sharing that window. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, you can try it out. And those of you who would like to try this out today, I'll stay on and we can go back and forth, and you can test it out if you'd like. But so those are two separate tools that you can use, but unfortunately not together. Are there any other questions about those tools so far? Just chime in if you do have a question. Okay. Hearing none, we shall continue. Troubleshooting tips and tricks. These are just kind of general things that I've compiled. The first thing is we really strongly recommend close any unneeded applications, windows, tabs on your computer when you are presenting. It just makes screen sharing so much easier. You won't end up with a million things to choose from when you're trying to figure out, what am I sharing here? You share the wrong thing by accident. You will see mostly you will see a green box around what you're sharing. And I need to grab something quick. I see somebody is chatting to me. I will catch that soon. Patsy has noticed this, that sometimes she needs to put her slides into presentation mode first and then share her screen. I have not noticed this to be a problem, but if it does cause problems, go ahead and try that to see if that will solve the problem for you. Locating your toolbar when you are presenting. What you're looking for is this little bar that it's a green bar. You are screen sharing, it says. In order to show the entire toolbar, you might have to hover over it. And so these two screenshots, the one on top shows you what it looks like before I hovered, and then the second one down here, I'm hovering over that little green bar, and now I can see my full toolbar, the black toolbar with all of those tools on it. If for some reason you can't find it, note that at the bottom of your, you'll have a taskbar at the very, very bottom of your computer. Look for the Zoom icon and click on that. That will bring things back and you'll be able to see it again. All right. Other things that are in this magic more menu. These are some of the things that presenters say to me, where in the world can I find the chat box when I'm presenting? It's in the more menu. So once you're able to get that toolbar to show up, more is way over on the right hand side. You click that and you'll see your chat box. You click on chat and the chat box will appear. Now, just a heads up, if you have lots of other things open on your computer and you click the chat box, you might not see it right away and you'll go, oh my goodness, where did it go? It didn't work. It might be buried underneath another thing that you have open. Okay, so you might have to minimize other things in order to find that chat box. So don't panic right away. Know that it's there, but it just might be buried. Okay, that happened to me recently. So other things that are in the more menu, annotate. If you are showing something like, say you are showing a whiteboard and you're going to be typing into it or whatever, let's say you don't want other people to annotate. Under that more menu, this is where that setting lives. So you can either enable or disable participants to annotate. If you want them to be able to annotate, you'll go to your more menu and you'll be able to click on that and either disable it or enable it. In the screenshot that you're seeing here, participant annotation is currently enabled because it says here disable it. So if I were to click on that, it would disable things. So this setting right now shows that participants are able to annotate. If you really, this is one of the security features. In our account, at least at Atlas and Minnesota ABE, we have this set as a default so that participants cannot annotate. But if you're in a big session, it's a nice thing to just check to make sure that participants can't annotate. And then again, if you want them to, you're going to need to just click on it here. Sharing computer sound. Let's say you're going along with your presentation, everything's going great. You're about to play a video and you realize, oh, darn it, I forgot to check that little box. I didn't check share computer sound when I shared my screen. No problem. The fancy dancy's more menu is coming to your rescue again. So you click on more and you'll find share computer sound down at the bottom here. You'll be able to click on that and then you can happily go on your way and play your video and people will be able to hear it. All right, so that's kind of an overview of some of the helpful tools, I think, that are in that more menu and other things, other tools that you can use in your presentation. The last thing that I'll show you on here, and again, you have a link to this screen sharing guide in Patsy's orientation agenda, that first document that we were going through together. There's a link to this, and also on the website, as I showed you. We put together a step-by-step guide for if you were to be bumped out of your presentation. This actually happened in Summer Institute. I was hosting for Andrea Eckelberger, and she was presenting, and all of a sudden, no Andrea Eckelberger. And she had gotten bumped out. Her internet went away temporarily. So we were able to, it was a little touch and go for a while there, but based on that experience, we put together this plan so that that we've got your back if that were ever to happen. What we suggest you do is download the Zoom app onto your phone. Then, if the internet goes down while you're presenting, you can really easily get back into the meeting. You can go through that app, or if you're really, really having issues and you can't get through on even using the app, you can also just dial in audio only. Now, that's not going to be ideal for you, but you would still be able to continue presenting. I'll show you this step-by-step guide really briefly. We're not going to go over it, but just I want you to know that it's here. What I recommend to everyone is that your slide deck, you always print off a copy so that you've got a paper copy of what you're presenting. That's like your ultimate backup. If you were to get bumped out, your internet went out, you try getting in through the app, and bye, Linda. You were unable to get in using the app, and you have to call in just audio only. You still have your printout, so you always have your slides there, your slides there, and then you'll be able to continue to present. The host of your session will have access to your slides, and that's the reason that we have everybody upload their slides to our folders. Your host can easily just take over, project those slides for you. You continue presenting. You've got your printout in your hands, so you know what you're doing, and everything will be just fine. So you've got a whole tech team behind you. That is, our focus is all the behind the scenes stuff, so that you can just focus on presenting. Another thing for you to be aware of is that your tech co-hosts are using this Zoom tech troubleshooting guide. So anything that's going on, that tech host, the tech co-host is able to help people with their own tech issues. The host is helping with your tech issues. So really, the bottom line is, as a presenter or as a facilitator, you've got a team behind you of tech people who are going to be focused entirely on making sure that your session, your workshop goes well. And you can lean on us and ask us for anything at any time. And we've got you. So all you need to think about is presenting. That's really all I have in terms of Zoom. Does anyone have any questions on what I presented, or questions on things that I haven't presented? Okay, looks like everybody's doing all right. So in that case, I think I will stop sharing my screen, and feel free to reach out to us between now and then. For a long time, it seemed like it was so far in the future, and now it's like a couple weeks away. But reach out to Gail, reach out to me for any questions that you might have between now and then. Gail, did you want to say anything additional?
No, I think that about covers it. But
All right.
if you have any questions about the program, give me a call or an email. Would be great. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
And thanks for all your help. Appreciate it.
Yes, thanks everyone. I'll say goodbye to everyone. We can shut down the recording, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Marisa. Thanks, Gail.
Sure, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.